Alright, alright. It's the Mathstone here again, trying to give you lessons from lessons learned as a student and a tutor. So, what we're talking about today is how to get rid of jitters. How to get rid of jitters. Now, if you're asking what are jitters, you can call it stomach bug, butterflies, or you could literally just give it a name. It really is. It's just nervous energy. It's the nervous energy of exam day, of writing the exam. And I believe it's important to get rid of that nervous energy before exam day. Why? Because it is a great stiffener of the brain. You cannot take nervous energy into the exam. It's not a good thing to take into the exam. Now, some people might have done well with it, but if you ask them if they would rather sit the exam with the nervous energy or without, everyone will say without. It doesn't do any good for you. Okay? So, let's go into ways to get rid of all that nervous energy. So when you sit your exam, your brain is fully focused on the exam and there's nothing poking holes in your memory so that you're fully focused on taking the exam and drawing on your knowledge. Okay? First things first, nervous energy starts with planning exam day. If you decide that you're going to wake up the morning of your exam, and that's when you want to start planning every single detail of your travel, of what time you're going to get there, of what time you're going to get to school or get to the exam hall, or who you're going to ask to drop you, or what time you're going to get the bus, or where your tools for the exam are going to be. That's when you're thinking about, okay, I gotta go to the store, I gotta get this, I gotta get this. At that point, you're on nervous energy overload. There is no way you're not gonna be nervous. Even just the fact that you think you're gonna be late for the exam by having all those things on plan for and trying to plan them on the morning of your exam or close to exam time, whether it's morning or afternoon exam, trying to plan all those things on the day of your exam definitely creates nervous energy because you're basically thinking, oh, how am I going to get all of this done before my exam? You don't need that. You need to plan the day before. That plan is to be in place. You need to have had a whole exam go bag ready. You need to have had a travel plan ready in your mind, fully set. It's not something that depends on someone who's not sure if they can help. You have to be certain that, okay, I can get there on time. And that's where planning comes into play. You can't leave things to chance. You can't say, oh, if I want to get to the exam hall 15 minutes before the time, then I'm going to cut it close. You don't cut your travel time close. You need to give yourself enough leeway so that no matter what happens in that gap, you're like, okay, I still got time. A good planned morning or afternoon before your exam always helps to ease any jitters or nervous energy. Okay? Another thing, and this is the most obvious one, and you might not want to hear this, but good old studying. Just hardcore studying. Some or most of the nervous energy people face is from trying to run away from certain topics before they even come out of the exam or before they show up on an exam paper. So people spend half the time going, oh, I hope that question doesn't come out. I hope this type of question doesn't come out. You're already creating nervous energy and jitters for yourself while you're studying. Why don't you just focus on having a complete 360 all-round study-proof system where you try to cover all your bases? That way, you're not nervous trying to pray for something not to come out, and you're spending the whole time in the morning or in front of the exam hall or before you open your exam paper praying, or let that topic not come out. You're crossing all your fingers on your hands, on your feet. You crossed your whole, you have braids crossed, just praying that a single topic doesn't come out in the exam. And it's like all that nervous energy, you could have spent that same energy having a look at every single topic and trying to get yourself to a good place of understanding where no matter the topic, you can attempt it and do really well on it. Okay? Point being, let your study be good enough that it covers all the bases. Don't do patchy studying. Don't patch study and think you're not going to be nervous, because your mind knows. You can't deceive your mind. Your mind knows when you've skipped a beat in your study process. When you've skipped a few steps, your mind knows, oh, we shouldn't have skipped that. We shouldn't have skipped that. And that's part of where the nervous energy builds up from. And you start getting jitters. Oh, I wish I had done that. I wish I had done that. No. Don't wish on exam day. Make sure your studying is full on. Reduce the amount of gaps in your studying and in your knowledge and in your understanding. In that way, you will also reduce the holes in which the nervous energy and the jitters can flow through into your system. Now, on the day, like I said before, if you plan ahead of time, travels, your tools to write the exam, how you want to get there, what time you want to get there, that helps reduce the holes nervous energy come through as well. That creates jitters. Also, another thing on exam day, when it comes to the actual paper on exam day, okay, one of the things that creates nervous energy that didn't start outside the hall, or even while you were studying, or even while you were sitting in front of the paper, one thing that creates nervous energy is when you open the paper and start obsessing over a question you can't figure out straight away. This is a big deal for students. They open the paper. Once they see a question they can't do, they start stressing. Oh my God, I can't figure this out. You're not supposed to do that. You're creating anxiety. Move on to the questions you can do. Once you open that paper, if you read the questions you can answer, or the questions that make sense to you, the moment you read them and you think upon them within the first 5 to 10 seconds of reading the whole question, after reading it and you're looking at it, if you can answer it comfortably, then go ahead. If you can't, move on. That's not the time to be obsessing over one question, especially when it's 1 or 2 marks. Because if you do that, that's when you start building nervous energy. You start asking questions. You start questioning your mind. Oh, if I don't know this, how will I know that? What have I missed? No, 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 no. The brain still works. You just need some time to get some easy answers, and then it starts running like a well-oiled machine. That's not the time to pour nervous energy into the mechanism of the brain. Nervous energy is like nuts and bolts on the wheel, inside the wheels. It messes up the turning. Okay? Don't need to be pouring that in there. What you need to be pouring is a whole load of questions that you can get right and do, and then the brain starts working nice, starts getting a few questions right, starts getting confidence, starts pulling the extra knowledge, and all of a sudden, the more difficult questions, information starts flowing, you start pulling on all your study, and then you ease into the rest of the exam. So, those are very, very important things that can help you when it comes to getting rid of jitters and that nervous energy. Okay? Once again, in short, you're planning ahead of the exam. You don't want to be planning on the day. Plan ahead so everything is already taken care of. So you wake up relaxed. Everything you need for the exam is already planned for. Your travel to the exam hall already planned for, and it's set in stone. Perfect. So when you wake up, you do what you need to do, and you just set out. You're not trying to fix anything in the morning. You need a calm mind. Also, let your study be foolproof as much as possible. Don't dodge certain topics and then pray they don't come out. That's nervous energy. You've already opened so many nervous energy doors. They're just going to flow in, because all you're going to be doing is praying those questions never show up or those topics never show up. If they don't show up, great. But one thing is for sure, whether they show up or not, you're going to have nervous energy going into the exam. Jitters are going to be written all over you. Okay? And also, on exam day, make sure that in your paper, you're doing the easy questions first. Don't start obsessing over the difficult ones and going, oh, because I can't do that, I can't do anything else. There are quite a lot of questions in an exam paper, especially at GCSE level, over 20 questions. I'm sure there are 5 or 6 or 7 that you can find to do easily and get the wheels flowing. And one more thing, don't let anyone create nervous energy inside you. Don't let your friends tell you what they think about what's going to show up or what's not going to show up. Don't let anyone transfer the nervous energy to you. The best way I advise to avoid this, never stand around listening to other people's problems in front of the exam hall. Just get there, walk away from the front of the exam hall, but stay close enough. Immediately they let you guys in, go in, set your bag, get what you need, and go to your desk and stop talking to people. That's literally it. Because the moment you start talking to people and they start feeding you with their own nervous energy, it creates nervous energy in you. They start going, oh, I don't think I studied that. Did you study that? That's not the time to check what you studied and what you didn't study. That's the time to really go, if I didn't study it, then so be it. I don't care. That's not the point to start questioning your brain. It's never the time. That's the time to go. I've done all I need to do. Now let's go and get things done. Okay? Not the time. That way, you reduce the pocket holes that nervous energy that creates jitters can flow into you. Okay? Remember, this is just a math gun giving you lessons from lessons learned as a student and a tutor.